Ooh, what happens when time travel?
Welcome to the Shazam cast.
Come on, Logan. Let's go find aliens.
Oh, burn, Leo, burn.
X-Men featuring Scott Pilgrim.
That's such a double
It's
die.
a fucking X-Men movie.
When you got a butt that's Shazam cast.
I had no fucking idea what to say.
That was probably our best intro yet.
Welcome to the Shazamily cast. I am...
Starring Dan.
And Leo.
We've gotten bad at doing the intro.
Shit.
What happened to us? We were stars. We were all stars.
We were on top, and now we're lying on
were
the
the
cold
champions.
ground. Okay, I'm Dan. I know a lot about comic books.
I'm Leo, and I don't know a lot about comic books. This is a show where me and Dan talk about movies based on comic books because one of us knows stuff and the other one doesn't, and then we have fun, and you listen to us, and you give us money. What? Nobody said anything about money.
Yet.
It's time for Days of Future Past, everybody. This is the last X-Men movie made so far, and thus the conclusion, or not the conclusion, because we have god-awful fanfic next time, but the conclusion of movie reviews for X-Men Month on the Shazam cast.
Nope, we're not done.
What?
No, we've got, Generation X.
Oh, that's right, I forgot
The
about Generation
crappy
X.
90s unaired TV pilot.
I completely forgot about Generation X. Alright, we're gonna, So never mind. We have,
Okay.
one more week to go.
Alright, so-
look forward to that, my friends. Look forward to that. In the meantime, Days of Future Past.
Alright, so... the
Are we even gonna
synops-
try to recap this plot?
Yeah, I'll do it.
Alright.
So, in a dark, distant future, mutants are put in internment camps and treated like the Jews during the World War II, and so they decide to send someone back in time into someone else's younger body. It's confusing, we'll get into it, and they send back Wolverine, because of course they do, to try to get young Professor X and young Magneto to sort all this shit out.
Basically, yeah, the story is that Mystique is responsible inadvertently by killing a guy, Peter Dinklage.
Trask.
Yeah, she is inadvertently responsible by killing this guy for putting a program into action that starts the Sentinels, which are basically like robots that hunt down mutants and kill them.
Yeah.
So, by doing that, she triggered the chain of events that led to everyone eventually dying. So, Magneto, Professor X, Storm, Shadowcat, Adult Bobby, Wolverine...
A bunch of them.
A bunch of people decide to send Wolverine back in time to his younger consciousness so that he can talk to the people from the prequel and get them to stop this.
Alright, so, before we get into this review, I have a little treat for y'all.
Oh.
Which is, I have a Flickr page, which I'll link in the description, but it's Steelix709, one word, no caps. And on it, I posted a review of Days of Future Past, a mini review. And
Really?
I had a lovely conversation with someone who, I'm going to read this out to you.
Oh boy.
A bit of context. In my review, I mentioned, and this is a bit of a spoiler for what my thoughts are, that I didn't like how Shadowcat suddenly had the ability to zap people's minds back into their younger body. And
Thank you. What the hell was that?
And I mentioned this in my mini review, so someone commented, and this is the little conversation I had. And hopefully you'll be able to differentiate the two conversations.
And to be clear, I've never heard this, so I'm very excited.
Yeah. All right.
I didn't even know this happened. Now I'm curious.
All right. So this person is quoting my review.
Are you gonna read them in the voice where?
Yeah, it's gonna be insultingly stupid.
Okay.
Wait, hold on, sirens.
You're being arrested. You didn't like the movie.
No, actually, it's that I burned a building down earlier. I'm just gonna wait for this to pass. Yeah.
All right. Let's hear it.
Probably. Okay. I didn't like how Shadowcat suddenly has the ability to send people's minds back, and this is him quoting me because that's what I said in my little review.
Right.
Someone never read the comics, apparently. She had the power in the comics, which the movie adapted from. It's a form of her phasing ability. And then my response is, no, she didn't. In the comics, Rachel Gray sent her back. And then I left a little source, because that's how you be polite in internet conversations.
Right. Jesus
Sorry,
Christ.
that boy.
Did you just have a hairball?
Yes. No. I'm okay. Let me just drink a bit of water.
Sorry, continue.
And yet Rachel was nowhere seen. Hence Kitty.
What?
Yeah, but in the comics, she never had that power. And Trask was never a midget. Difference in character appearance is different than character's powers. If one day Wolverine could just fly, wouldn't you question that?
No, well, that right there is inspiration for some terrible fanfic writers.
So you didn't mind that the Silver Samurai was really an archer, Juggernaut being a mutant, Deathstrike being just like Wolverine? When did I say that? You didn't! Just pointing out that it's a movie! I get that. I'm just saying it makes no sense for Kitty to have that power. If it was Professor X, then it would make sense, but it's not even close to her ability in the comics, or the other movies for that matter. Being able to phase someone's mind backwards seems to make sense for her phasing abilities.
My God.
Plus, it worked for the plot anyways, for the beginning and end. I doubt Stuart Reeve would have been able to handle such action. Also surprised you made no mention of Sunspot getting weaker in the dark the whole time.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not really phasing, it's zapping someone's consciousness back to their younger self. Nothing about it has anything to do with phasing. I guess Stuart is old, but it would still be possible. He was lively as hell and waiting for Godot. Why should I mention Sunspot? Because his powers are an inaccurate portrayal as well if you keep wanting to get technical. All the movies are like that. It all depends on how you want to define phasing. She could have developed them as part of her phasing ability. Clearly. Yeah, this is a smart little person here. There's a difference between slight alterations and drastic ones. Sunspot not getting weaker, minor. He wasn't even called by name in the film. Kitty suddenly having the ability to mind zap people, drastic. And you can call it phasing, but it's still mind zapping. Actually, he was called Sunspot in the film.
Jesus
right
Christ.
at the beginning and right in the credits. My point's still valid. And then he gets super looks like I'm gonna pull the Deadpool card then. 'Cause it's a movie. What? I'm not talking about Deadpool. And everyone thinks that version of Deadpool was horrible. All I'm saying is that Kitty didn't have anything close to that power in any version of her, and I didn't like that she had it here. You're not realizing the point I'm making here. Kitty was the one who was sent back in the comics. Therefore, she gets the powers in the movie.
What?
Wouldn't make sense to have herself sent back like originally scripted since she wasn't existing at the time. So plot rewritten. It's a movie. It's a comic movie. Comics themselves break their own rules all the time. Okay.
Jesus.
Just because she was sent back in the comics doesn't give her the power to send others. That's not how it works. And yes, comics and movies break their own rules, but A, that doesn't make it okay, and B, it's still a stupid choice and would have made more sense to have a real telepath do it. Well, she has the power in the movie, so deal with it! Yeah.
Jeez.
I accept that she has the power in the movie. I'm just critiquing the movie and calling the filmmakers out on stupid writing. That's why it's called a review. I think it's brilliant writing. Matt Vaughn is brilliant. Well, it's just my opinion. I found an issue with it, so I said so in my review.
Oh my God.
So yeah, this person...
Is there not any more of that?
No, I think he kind of understood that he was acting like a complete moron, and I'm not going
That's
to
my favorite thing.
But I'm not going to say this guy's name because his costumes are decent. But anyways, let's actually talk about this movie.
Dear God. Okay, I just want to... Okay, first of all, that may have been my favorite thing that has happened on the Shazam cast yet.
Really?
And, yeah, that was amazing. And second of all, I feel like that person realized their own stupidity, 5 minutes into the conversation, and from there was just trying to logic their way in to see if they could get out of the conversation without looking completely stupid.
Spoiler alert, they fail.
Ah, that was insane. What?
Yeah.
Okay, alright, movie.
Alright, so yeah, good things. When just the opening again, as all Avatar, or not Avatar, X-Men movies openings are awesome.
What?
But,
Avatar?
I'm sorry, I got confuzzled. But anyways, what did I really like? I really liked when they played the old theme for me, because like this series is very nostalgic to me. So when they were playing that old theme, like the
We can't sing
that
any more
was
than 10
I
seconds.
just loved that part because it was just like, dude, it's an X-Men movie, and I just really like that, and it just kind of raised my nostalgia. And again, like with all the other ones, the things that were good. Well, actually, I don't know if I can say it, but like all the actors are good.
The actors are pretty great.
And
I can't think of anyone that was particularly
Well, I mean, Halle Berry is never like particularly good in these movies, but her role was significantly decreased.
That's true, yeah. At least she didn't at least they didn't try to make her interesting.
Yeah. But anyways, good things. Hugh Jackman was, as always, Hugh Jackman, but
This is actually as far as we're talking about Hugh Jackman, I think this is the best Wolverine Hugh Jackman has been so far.
I'd agree with that actually. I think he just just feels the most like Wolverine. He just feels the most comfortable.
I think as the movies go on, they figure out more and more. Not only Hugh Jackman gets more comfortable in the role, but also they figure out more how to write Wolverine, and they realize how amazing it is when he just doesn't give a shit. Because
and I
Wolverine's defining factor is that he is not taking these people's shit, and it's amazing. It's just wonderful.
Actually, one of my notes later is that I feel like Wolverine needs to give more of a shit, just because he's like on a ticking clock and has to stop an apocalyptic future, and just seems to faff about a little too much.
That's true. That was a little silly,
but yeah, Hugh Jackman was. And let's talk about everyone's favorite fucking part, Quicksilver.
Oh my god, he was so good.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Okay, so I briefly explained. I went into the whole copyright dispute thing with.
Yeah, you did that last time.
So, just to reiterate briefly, basically the rights for Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch are split between Marvel and Fox. So they're going to appear. Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch are going to appear in Avengers 2, but they also appeared in this one, and they're going to be completely unrelated to each other. But however
Quicksilver
good
appeared in it.
Yeah, well, Scarlet Witch had a very minor cameo that you wouldn't even know unless you knew that.
Oh, was Scarlet Witch the baby?
I did. Yeah, however good Quicksilver is in Avengers 2, he's not going to be as good as he is here. Just because, and this is just personal. This is how I always grew up with the character. This is how I always imagined him. This kind of douchey, fuck authority, and the actor's really awesome. Only problem I had with him, his hair was too long. Like that's my biggest complaint with him.
I don't know. First of all, I kind of like the hair. Second of all, for those people who didn't watch the movie, halfway through the movie, they get Quicksilver, which Wolverine knows him for some reason because the plot needs it. But they get Quicksilver to help them break Magneto out of the Pentagon. So that's what this is all about. What this whole conversation is all about. Just so we're clear and nobody's confused, that's what we are talking about. Quicksilver is the guy who breaks Magneto out of the Pentagon, and he has an amazing freeze scene where he freezes the... They're breaking out of the Pentagon, and then a bunch of guards stop them, and they're like, oh no, this is not gonna work. They're about to shoot at them, and they start shooting, and then Quicksilver just, has this awesome scene where suddenly, time slows down, and he just, runs across the wall and, catches the bullets, and there's just, a calm song playing in the background as he's listening to all this going on. And it just was hilarious, and it was dramatic, and it was wonderful.
Yeah, the Quicksilver running around scene is probably either the best or second best action scene throughout the entire X-Men franchise, with like this versus the Nightcrawler White House scene. Like,
Oh
it's a
yeah,
tie
those are
between
the
them.
two for sure.
Yeah, the song playing I think was "Time in a Bottle."
Yeah, that's what it was, definitely, and it was so
"Five
good.
for time in a bottle."
And we can't
The
sing any more than 10
Thursday
seconds, so
night.
shh.
Well, it's my voice. I own my own voice, Leo.
Yeah, but you don't own the song, Dan. And
Yeah,
I'm
but
the
you-
one who's gonna get sued, because my name's
Really?
on the editing.
Fine. Okay, but anyways, so yeah, the Quicksilver stoppy time scene is amazing and easily the highlight of the film.
Fantastic.
For other good things, all the actors I mentioned this, but specifically James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender are just fucking beautiful in this movie.
Those are
young
Xavier
Magneto,
and Magneto, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Those are
They're-
amazing.
And I thought that young Magneto, like, just felt a lot more like Ian McKellen in this movie.
He was better in this movie, yeah, than in the last one. I loved
Yeah.
him even more.
hmm
And one of the things, actually, there was this great, amazing moment where Beast is, like, holding him down in the fountain, and for a split second, as you're watching Magneto's face, he looks exactly like Ian McKellen.
Does he? I didn't notice that.
If you, like, if you watch back, I almost didn't notice it, but then I did, and I was like, whoa! And it blew my mind, because just for, like, a split second, you could see the resemblance in their faces so much more clearly. And I
Yeah.
think that was intentional, probably, unless I'm just magic and my eyes are magic.
I don't know. I think you're noticing more than I am, but yeah.
Here's another thing. There's a scene where basically one of the major things in this movie, one of the arcs, is that young Xavier is broken. After
I'm gonna
the
get
war
into
in
that because
Vietnam.
I had issues with that.
But all I'm going to say is that the way that they fix it is that Xavier goes forward through Wolverine's mind.
yeah, the scene with
the two Xaviers.
that was great.
I
just
love
'cause,
that so much.
It's a really surreal thing. Like,
It's so weird, but to see Patrick Stewart and him in the same room, like having a
that
conversation, was
that was
amazing.
awesome, man. I don't know. I like this movie a lot, and I don't think I have any more real like solid likes, but I actually have one more like, which is I like the future parts, and I think that there should have been a lot more future parts.
That's true. The future parts could have been really like there. You know,
there
there's a
should
lot
have been
of
like some
potential.
kind of subplot. Like, imagine if there was a subplot about like Bishop and a few others just like sneaking into a mutant's camp and like freeing a bunch of them or destroying
Ooh.
like the Sentinel like base. Wouldn't that have been so cool? And like you would have
That
gotten
would
to
have been
know
awesome.
how the future felt more from the mutant's perspective and like how it felt to be a mutant in
That's
those
true.
times. Yeah, so like I just feel like that would have been so. I think they should have done a lot more there because it was filmed really well, like this bleak, dark future. But yeah, and the action is also really good. Like all these Sentinels, it's like really brutal action. Like people get their heads torn off in this movie,
Oh yeah, it's intense.
and they're like bodies being dumped from internment camps.
Oh my
So
god. Yeah.
yeah, this is like it's brutal, and like I'm not saying it's bad. It's just like this is like I know Spoonie did a review of this, and I agree with him. It's like a hard R rating. This movie could get because like I know it's like Iceman is ice and Colossus is made of steel or whatever, but it's still they get ripped apart and stabbed multiple times throughout the movie.
That's true. That was intense.
Yeah.
They knew how to do the action in this movie. That was great.
Yeah.
So what I was gonna say real quick is that I quite like Youngest Striker. At least I like him more than Origin Striker.
I don't know. I thought he was kind of unnecessary and just kind of there for look another young one. And like
I guess the reason, I just like him because I don't know what he symbolizes as. Because in X2, Stryker is such, like, this war hero, or not war hero, but he's, like, a veteran,
Yeah.
and he's, and it's so, like, I don't know, it's just, that's actually how I feel, I'm like, it's kind of, I'm that dumb watcher who's like, oh, look, another young one, because
It's like
that's
Pokemon.
just,
You gotta get all the younger ones.
Yeah, that's...
Mhm.
There we go.
All right.
Wonderful.
Do we have,
Oh.
do you have any more
I-
good things?
I do.
Yeah.
Let's see. Real quick. So, let's see. Okay, here we go. Here's a cool one. What did I say? Oh, right. I like Trask. I love the actor who plays Trask.
Peter Dinklage!
He's really great.
Tyrion Lannister
Yes,
on
Peter
Game of Thrones. He's an amazing actor.
I'm familiar with Peter Dinklage. I'm just really bad at names of actors. I'm notorious for that, honestly.
Yeah.
In the First Class review, I couldn't remember what. Wait, god damn it! What is his name? The guy who plays Beast, older
Nicholas
Beast, Kenneth
Hoult.
Graham.
Oh, Kelsey
No,
Grammer.
older Beast.
Kelsey Grammer.
Kelsey Grammer, not Kenneth Graham. Kenneth Graham is the guy who wrote Wind in the Willows.
I didn't know that, so there you go. But
Fun facts with Leo.
yeah,
That's never gonna be a
I
segment.
hope
I have a couple more things real
just,
quick before
yeah,
we
but
go
Peter
on.
Dinklage is an amazing actor, and I felt like he was really underutilized in this film.
That's true. He could have been used much more.
Yeah.
So here's just a couple quick things. One is, once again, Wolverine doesn't give a shit, and it's wonderful because, like, I don't know, it's great to see Hugh Jackman do kind of like.
Yeah.
I loved when he did that in the previous movies, and he's like, it's really utilized. Like in the plane, there's one scene where they're in a plane, and I forget what Magneto had just done, but he had done something annoying and like something, you know, really mean to, he like, you know, had, I think this was just after he yelled at Professor Xavier, and Wolverine like turns around and lights a cigar, and he's like, "So you were always an asshole." That was a great moment. And then, let's see, other moments where I loved Hugh Jackman was when he passed through a metal detector.
Oh
and
god, I love that part.
it didn't go off. And then he looks back and he's like, "Wait, what?" And then he's like, "Oh, right."
Yeah.
Because he goes back in time to before he had the adamantium claws, so his claws are bone. And it was, like, really weird for him to pass through the metal detector, and I love that so much.
He fucking nails this so well. It's awesome.
It's so wonderful. I like the actor who plays Richard Nixon.
He was so cartoonish, this version of Richard Nixon.
That's true. It was kind of odd, but
I mean, it's like
I also kind of liked
Futurama
it.
level Richard Nixon. If you haven't seen Futurama, go fucking watch Futurama because it's literally one of the best cartoons ever made. But they have Richard Nixon's head in a jar who runs for president again and is just so funny. But he reminded me a lot of that, and I think that it was just a bit too cartoony for this movie. All right, do you have any more good notes?
I don't have any more good things, but I have some things that are not necessarily bad. They're just like questions,
Oh yeah,
kind of things, but not all of them are questions. So let's see. I'm saying like, so these are not negative things or questions. They're just, some of them are questions, but these are just like things that are neutral. So one is adult Bobby, which is that I was excited to see the actor who played Bobby in the original X-Men trilogy with a beard, just because that was a little mind twisty for me. Another note is, I say, in reference to the first appearance of Blink, "Oh, hello, human portal gun. How nice of you to join us."
Human. That's
what Blink is. Blink is that. That's what Blink is. She's a human
Basically.
portal gun.
She had really awesome action scenes, actually.
Yeah, no, I really like the way they utilize her powers. They're really cool. Let's see. Oh, right. Here we go. Another thing. Magneto killed JFK, but then he didn't kill JFK, and JFK was a mutant. What the hell is this whole JFK thing?
So, I have no idea why JFK was a mutant in this movie, or allegedly. But the whole bending the bullet thing, that's like, I think that's a leftover of, because originally this movie was going to be a sequel to Days of Future Past, not Days of Future, to First Class.
Oh.
So, it like, yeah, I think it just has remnants of that, and one of the big plot points was about Magneto and him maybe assassinating JFK. So
Oh, right.
I don't
So
know
they
that
didn't want to take it out because it was so cool.
I guess. Anyways,
Okay,
but
that makes sense, I guess. Do we have any more questions before we move on to, bad stuff? Oh yeah, how does Wolverine know Quicksilver? Was that ever explained?
nope.
Is that really how you're just gonna brush off that question with, pff.
No, they never explain how they know each other.
Oh. Brilliant.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be rude or anything. They just never explain it. I have nothing to give you.
Well, fantastic. Besides that, let's move on to the bad stuff, I guess.
All right, bad stuff. I have actually a lot of bad stuff.
So do I. So do I.
But I like this movie, so keep that in mind.
Yeah, me
first,
too.
my main thing, and I mentioned this in my lovely conversation with that incredibly intelligent man. I think it's a man. I'm not sure. That Kitty Pryde just gets this random power to send people back in time, and it's stupid. And I wish they would have explained that better.
Yeah.
Sen-
That was really, really, really strange and completely random and out of the blue. So
Yeah, basically.
I expected that, like, maybe, maybe that happens in the comics, so
Nope.
they made it,
Well, okay,
So-
in the comics, Kitty is the one who is sent back.
Oh.
Like that idiot person was trying to explain to me.
Right, yeah, that's what I got out of that conversation. So I figure that means that there's another mutant that can send people back in time.
So in the original comic, it was the child of Scott and Jean.
Oh, they have a kid.
They have like three. It's in an alternate universe or alternate future. They've had like 3 different alternate future children come back into the modern timeline, and it's so weird.
Do they have, like, different alternate futures in which they have different kids,
Yeah.
and all those different kids came back?
Yeah, huh? That's
What the hell?
Yeah, it's confusing, but
That's so weird.
yeah. In it, the original one was Rachel Summers, who actually does join the X-Men eventually.
Oh.
Yeah, but I think there's also Cable, who's so fucking confusing, and I hate him.
Sorry, Cable?
No, I'm not even talking about him.
Is that his mutant name, or
No more questions about fucking Cable.
his name is Cable?
Shut up. Anyway, that's his.
Why
mutant
is his
name.
name
It's
Cable?
his mutant name. I don't fucking know.
What is his power if his name is Cable?
His power is to shut the fuck up, Leo.
Does he channel electricity?
Moving on.
Because I can't see otherwise why his name would be Cable.
It's a long story, and I'm not fucking getting into it.
But his name is Cable.
Your name is an asshole.
Why is his name Cable? At first I thought you said Caleb, and I was like, okay, but Cable?
You know what, Leo? Sometimes you just have to accept the fact that comics are bullshit. So
I'm genuinely curious, though.
look it up then. I'm not explaining it here.
I'm sorry, okay. So,
Other dislikes.
Cable,
Shut the
X-Men, comics. Alright, let's take a
Why?
look, shall we?
No, let's actually talk about this movie. It's gonna be like an hour long because of that.
Cable, Nathan Summers, is a fictional character appearing in comic books published by Marvel Comics. The character first appeared as Nathan Summers in Uncanny X-Men, issue 201, January 1986. Cable's identity was created by writer Louise Simonson and artist co-writer Rob Liefeld, and first
Fuck
appeared in
Rob Liefeld,
The
I'm
New
sorry.
Mutants, number 87.
Okay.
He was born
Thank
in
you.
the present Marvel timeline,
Are
but
you
was
just doing
sent
this to fuck with
into
me?
a distant future. Why is he carrying around a baby on his chest?
Okay, I'll say this about Cable, then we're moving on. He is one of the most convoluted stories, origin stories of any superhero I've ever seen. And it is so stupid that I'm not getting into it now, nor will I ever get into it unless he is put to film, which I pray to whatever god there is that he doesn't.
Shortly after Blood and Metal,
Shut
Cable
the
was given
fuck
his
up.
own ongoing series titled Cable. Issue 6 confirmed the character to be Nathan Christopher Summers, the son of Cyclops and Madeline Pryor, Jean Grey's clone,
Oh my god.
who had been taken
No.
to the future in X Factor 68.
You see the shit that happens? You see the shit? Now you see why I don't want to
What?
get into this crap?
Wait. The 1994 miniseries, The Adventures
No.
of Cyclops and Phoenix, provided further information on the character's backstory.
Okay.
There's
I-
also
I-
a series called Cable and Deadpool.
I hope. Are you happy now? Are you done?
Avengers X Sanction.
Okay.
Ca-
Okay,
Cable
we're
and the
done.
X-Force.
We're done now. We have to move on.
My god, he's a major character.
He's so stupid. I'm probably gonna get shit for that, but I don't fucking care.
In 2009, Marvel attempted to hire a team of writers to come up with creative ways to launch its lesser-known priorities into film, such as Black Panther, Cable, Iron Fist, Nighthawk, and Vision.
Okay, thank you, Leo. Leo, dear.
Cable
Leo?
made 6 appearances in X-Men the Animated Series.
Leo, honey.
We're
You have to-
watching those episodes and we're reviewing them on the show.
Anyways, so, my other big major dislike is how they handled the whole Professor X can walk again thing.
Yeah, what was up with that?
Okay, so this hits a little close to home with me because short, minor story. I have a thing called club feet. Basically, I had to have a bunch of surgery on my feet, and I can't walk for a long time. I can still walk, and it's not like I have to be in a wheelchair or anything as bad, but it's just, it's obviously a disability, and obviously it's, you have to live with it. But seeing, like, a character like Professor X, who was crippled in the end of the last one, just fucking have a magic potion just given to him by Beast, which I didn't like, is fucking insulting. Like, that's not how it fucking works, children. And I'm kind of not okay with that actually. And I feel like it's just really lazy writing. And I feel like if they had him in, like, a cane, like walking with some kind of cane, or, like, I don't know, something. But
If he at least flied around or something, yeah.
as is, I really didn't like it. And I really didn't like how they basically turned Beast into a combination of the Hulk and Professor Snape.
Oh, dear God, I just imagined that in a picture.
Photoshop it, someone.
That's
any-
happening. That's
Great.
going to be the cover of this episode.
Great. Anyways, but yeah, I really didn't like how they just turned him into the Hulk, where it's just like, I can control it if I take the potion. It's just, it's stupid, but
Yeah, that's admittedly, it was really silly. And I don't really know what you mean by the potion that the Hulk takes to get not angry, but
He
we'll
doesn't-
find out in Hulk Month.
that's gonna be for like a while.
Yeah, well, it'll happen eventually.
Yeah, those are my main issues.
That makes sense. I'm trying to think of, like, major. Oh, okay. Here I wrote down the Sentinels are basically a mix between the Destroyer from Thor and the Extremis soldiers from Iron Man 3.
No, not really. Kind of.
In that they can
Vaguely.
control, like, they can absorb heat and then shoot it out at people, and
Well,
they
yeah.
and they open their faces and shoot giant lasers fire.
I guess, but I'm pretty sure the Sentinels came before the Destroyer armor.
That makes sense.
I'm gonna-
Probably.
I'm gonna check this actually. I know that Destroyer.
Oh, the Destroyer was the same way it was in the movies as it was. I mean, as it in the movie as it is in the comics, right?
Pretty fucking close. I'm just gonna
Accurate. That's
check
good.
this
Okay.
quickly. When did it first appear? First appeared 1965. That's close. Hold on.
Wow. Fact checking, the most exciting part of any
Yeah.
superhero movie.
Sentinels were created. I'm not. They're like really early. I think like issue 10. They were 1965, same year.
Wow.
So
Fancy that.
Sentinels were in November, which
And they also open their faces and shoot fire.
no, they don't. That was the movie.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, and the Destroyer was in July, so Sentinels came first. But yeah, the Sentinels never opened up their face to do that. That was totally, kind of their own creation of the movie, which I
Right.
don't mind.
So I don't know. I sensed a parallel and felt it needed pointing out.
Whatever.
I don't
sure.
like Storm's new hair.
It's exactly the same.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not. In The
Basically,
Last
it's-
Stand, she kind of had like a pixie cut type thing, and then here it like goes up. She almost has like a mohawk.
Okay, fine, whatever.
Why do I care so much about Storm's hair in these movies?
I don't know. Why do you? I actually have one other major note.
What?
A bad thing note. So, at the end, what happens is they basically do a soft reboot of the entire franchise.
Wait, no. Let's not talk about that until
Well,
the end.
No,
because
but I have a note about it though.
But that's the most annoying thing to talk about. So I feel like we should save it.
Well, tough. I'm doing it now.
Okay, fine.
So, but anyways, they do this basically soft reboot of the franchise. And remember when we were talking about how if they ever reboot the franchise, I had seen this movie and I was like, oh Leo, oh Leo. Anyways, but
Here's the thing. Okay,
Well,
in the past, Wolverine's in the past, he basically causes events to happen that lead to the Sentinels never being created.
well, they were created because they weren't like Super Sentinels from the future.
Oh, right, yeah, but I mean, the Sentinels not, taking over, the humans not launching the program, Charles and Xavier not, like, parting so much.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, none of the movies happened. I'm just gonna go out and say it. None of the movies happened
after
because of Days
First
of Future
Class.
Past.
Yeah.
No, yeah. First
Well,
Class
here's the
is the
thing.
only movie that happens.
Here's the
All
thing.
the other movies
I think it like
never happened
split off
because-
into alternate timelines because there's so what happens is after the events of X3 somehow it turns into what happens at the beginning of Days of Future Past with the Dark Future. So then they send Logan back, and it starts its own timeline. So there's just two distinct timelines. There's the evil future timeline, and then there's the new future timeline.
Right, but in the timeline that's now
Mm-hmm.
existent,
Yeah,
nothing that happened in any of the movies leading up to this movie ever happened.
I got that's what
Okay,
a soft reboot
because-
is, dude.
X-Men never happened because the first one didn't happen because Wolverine never got his claws and Magneto didn't necessarily try to kill everyone because it wasn't necessary.
it might have just happened in a different way.
X2 never happened because Stryker never got access to
Okay, it still happened. It just didn't happen in this universe. Or in this timeline.
X3 never happened because none of those people died, and we know that because they're still alive. The Wolverine at Origins didn't happen because
you
Stryker
complaining?
never got a hold of Wolverine.
Is that a bad
The
thing?
Wolverine never happened because Wolverine
get
never
what
had
a
to go to
soft
Japan because
reboot
he
is,
wasn't
dude.
depressed about Jean. And First Class happened.
Yeah.
This entire month was pointless. We did all of this stuff for nothing.
No, it's an alternate.
We watched all of these god-awful movies for no goddamn
Did
reason.
you really think they were
We
god
had
awful,
to
dude?
view all of this stuff and view Wolverine moping and doping over a stupid love triangle and Jean get her stupid powers all of a sudden completely out of nowhere for no reason because it didn't happen anyway.
Did you really think they were bad?
Nah, they were alright.
Okay, so as I was trying to say through his rage, it's not that they didn't happen. It's just they happened in a different timeline. So now what exists is that there are two distinct timelines. There are two.
What does
Where-
that even mean?
It means that because Wolverine went back and changed history, there are now two different courses of events that happened in the same universe.
But they didn't happen in the other universe.
Okay, they have another timeline.
But they didn't happen in the other universe.
Whatever. That isn't even my issue. I honestly think that having a soft reboot of the franchise is literally the only way they could have saved it, and I think it's the best way to do it. Because they can redo the Phoenix Saga, they can not kill everyone off, and they can make smarter choices with their characters. Because, like, the superhero film genre has evolved a lot since the first X-Men movies came out. And doing this, like, soft reboot, I think, is honestly the best thing they could have done.
You know what should happen? Fox should sell the rights to the X-Men movies to Marvel Disney, and then Marvel Disney should put it in the Avengers Cinematic Universe.
Yes, I mean, of course, that's without that's a given. But anyways, so, that isn't even my issue.
But it didn't happen in the other universe.
Shut the fuck up.
Okay.
Okay, so this is my issue with the whole thing. I was kind of expecting them to do a reboot, like a soft reboot, because when you're dealing with time travel, it's like one of those things that happens. But they were having this build up when Wolverine wakes up, and it's like, look, everyone's alive, bright, vibrant colors. Kelsey Grammer is Beast again. It's all cool. It's all cool. And then when Wolverine walked through the fucking door, and I knew she was gonna show up. I knew Jean was gonna show up, and it was just like Jean. It was just like he walked, and it's just like, okay. And the second Cyclops showed up, who has stupid glasses in this, I was just like, no. You were given the golden opportunity. You did it so well. You had the perfect chance. And what are you gonna do? You're gonna fuck it up by going back to the same cliche character arcs you had with the first ones. And there's that moment where Wolverine's just like, well, I guess things don't change, actually. Yes, they fucking can, because you're given, like, the golden opportunity to do it, and you completely fucking waste it. Ugh. Now it's my turn to be pissed off. Seriously, they could have done something really good with it. They could have really just, like, ugh.
You know what would have been the best thing ever?
What?
If it was like he's walking through and then Jean runs up to him and she's like, Logan, oh my god. And then he's like, piss off,
That
bub.
would have been amazing.
That would have been so great because I'm so tired of Wolverine and Jean.
Oh, I hate
So dumb.
least favorite
They're like,
ship.
oh my god, they're like the movie couple, the least romantic movie couple of all time.
It's
Literally
a creepy obsessed stalker guy who's like 200 years old, and this girl who just kind of wants to be happy with Scott.
Hey, did
What?
somebody say Twilight? It's Twilight.
You can't see my face button right now, but I'm like glaring.
It is, it's Twilight. Think about it. Wolverine is Edward, and Jean is Bella, and Scott is Jacob. Because he's ultimately the better guy, but for some reason we're supposed to root for Wolverine, even though it doesn't make sense that Wolverine and Jean be together at all. And Jean is stupid and thinks that she has to make a choice, but she doesn't. And both of them have superpowers.
You know what, Leo? Fuck off.
Dude, one of them
No.
literally has the word wolf in his name.
Who has wolf in their name in Twilight?
Wolverine.
In Twilight.
Not in Twilight. One of them is a wolf in Twilight.
Oh. Okay, you know what? That's my 2 cents. I don't have much else to say about this fucking movie. Do you have?
Oh, I have some stuff. Okay, first of all, this is literally what I said about the beginning of the movie. So the intro happens with the cool CGI, of course, and then the Sentinels show up in like the secret base with all the, X-Men, and they start fighting, and it's like, well, never mind who or why, let's just get to the action.
Yeah, I mean, they just kind of going through. And I remember when they were meeting in Tibet. Kitty, I was just like, okay, Kitty, please explain exposition to me. I knew from the second they were all in that meeting it was just gonna be exposition.
And yeah, I have the same note, except it was about what Xavier said. He was like, did somebody say exposition?
Yeah.
Because
seriously.
Xavier sits down, and apparently all these people know this because they're all from the same timeline, and they're all already aware of what's going on. So he's like, and then he starts talking about in this year Mystique assassinated Trask, and that led to this future because this and this and this and this and stuff. And I'm just like, wait, okay, first of all, if all these people know this, why are you telling them it? And they keep standing there and just listening to what I'm saying, and I'm like, somebody speak up and tell Xavier that you already know all this stuff. Anyone? Come on, Logan.
It would be really funny if just at the end of her exposition speech is like, Logan's just like, you do realize we know all this. And so I was like, you did? Just really sincere, just like, really? Oh, I'm sorry. I just wasted all your time. Why didn't you speak up? And he's just like, we're too polite for that.
And plus, the audience needs to know what's going on.
Yeah. And it's just like, Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart just like, hey guys, because they're like awesome.
Yeah, Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart are the greatest actor
Dude,
buddies.
I met Ian McKellen. He's awesome.
Oh my god, yeah. Dan's Facebook profile picture is him with Ian McKellen, and I'm jealous.
You jelly boy.
I'm jelly.
Okay.
Let's see. What else do I have to say? When did Shadowcat suddenly get this new power? Why the Wolverine ass? We just have a random shot where we see Hugh Jackman's butt.
Beautiful. Completely necessary for the plot. The movie would not be the same without that one particular shot.
It, like, I literally thought they were just gonna, like, pan up and, like, he looks in the mirror.
I'm
But no,
so-
for some reason there was a shot
Dude,
where we saw the bottom
Hugh
half of his
Jackman?
naked body as well.
Hugh Jackman fucking fought to have his ass appear in this movie.
For sure. I don't know. I feel like that was a publicity thing.
I don't care. It's awesome.
As was the product placement from the 70s when they're in the football stadium, the famous football stadium scene from the trailers.
Mm-hmm.
There's like posters for Pepsi and Mountain Dew all over the place. They're like literally so visible in plain view.
Whatever. You know.
Let's see. Oh yeah, what the hell is that portrait in Trask's office? When
That was so fucking creepy.
When Mystique breaks into Trask's office, he has a portrait behind his desk that's like him and a girl in a wheelchair, and he's stolen her prosthetic leg and is like holding it and looking at the. It's so weird.
I
There's
demand
no
this leg to have a trial
explanation.
by combat. Game of Thrones reference for those people.
It's so strange.
Oh my God,
Like,
it's-
why?
oh.
What is that portrait?
Okay.
Also, what the hell is this school that organized a trip with small children to the Pentagon?
Wait, when were there small children in the Pentagon?
That's how Scott and Beast, not Scott, Beast and
I don't think it was children. I think it was just like a tour group.
no, yeah, but there were a lot of kids.
I don't know. Parents need to do something with their kids. I mean, they can't just keep them in their fun basements all day.
Is anyone allowed in the Pentagon? I feel like in real life that shouldn't be a thing.
I don't feel like googling it, honestly.
All right, whatever.
All right.
Let's see. Oh, there's a line where Magneto looks at Wolverine's bone claws and says, "Imagine if they were metal."
Oh,
and I'm
God,
just
that's
like,
stupid.
bullshit. Come on, shut up.
I do imagine. I thought, okay, another moment of this movie being fucking brutal is when Magneto just like gets like piping, is like starts like jabbing Wolverine with it, and it's like Jesus Christ.
Oh my god, yeah, that was gruesome.
This movie is really fucking gruesome. If you
It's so creepy. It's just like Wolverine, like, yeah, Magneto's like, Wolverine's about to stop him, and Magneto just like grabs some like piping, some like cords
Yeah.
and stuff, and then just like friggin' runs it through all like
Yeah,
through
yeah.
Wolverine's body, and it's, God, it was gruesome. And then he just throws him in a lake. It was like, wow.
Yeah, and again, I like how Wolverine isn't the like central focus of this movie. He's really
Yeah, he's the one who gets sent back in time, and yet it's really more about.
it's Professor X's story.
Yeah, it kind of is.
Okay.
Here's another thing.
Actually, can I say I have one note about
yeah, go
Professor?
ahead.
Professor X is super gay in this movie
How do you mean?
for Magneto. Like he so is. There's like when Wolverine is talking to him, he's like, he broke your heart and you loved him, and it's just like, and he's like walking up the stairs and he just stops and it's like, how do you know that? And then when they're on the plane, he's like, I loved you, Magneto. It was so gay if you didn't remember. Just
And
yeah.
not that there's anything wrong with that.
Dude, Ian McKellen is gay. He's awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm too
Oh,
tired.
here's another thing.
About that.
Trask literally said there was no metal in the Sentinels. And then in the, like, near the end of the movie, Magneto just started moving the Sentinels around
Do you
and,
not
like,
remember
breaking
that
them and
part
stuff.
when they were on the train and he like took all the railing stuff and put it into the Sentinels for that sole purpose?
Oh, that's what that scene was!
Did
I
you-
was wondering why Magneto was on a train.
Out of context, it's so funny. It's just
Yeah,
like,
Magneto just decided to hop on the friggin' Hogwarts Express and take a joyride while ripping up the roadway for some reason. Oh yeah, don't people usually have to leave when Cerebro turns on? Because there was a scene where they used
No.
Cerebro and Hank and Logan were just in the room. I don't know.
No, that was.
Whatever.
They don't have to do that. Well, no.
Okay, here's the last thing I have to say, and this is it's not particularly important. It's just something that annoyed me. The reason why getting Mystique killing Trask was the last step was because they needed Mystique's DNA to make the Sentinels adapt to their environment. If you need a mutant that adapts to the environment in the plot, don't use Mystique, whose power is turning into stuff. Use Darwin, whose power is adapting to the environment.
Yeah.
In First Class, they literally set up this character where his power is that he adapts to his environment. He stuck his head in a fish tank, and he got grills. People were throwing plates at him, and he became, like, scaly, hard stone. And yet, they, instead of utilizing that, they decided to kill him. They just, okay, let's kill Darwin.
Hey.
Why? Because...
He's the black guy, dude.
There we go. I didn't want to be the one to say it, but it's true.
Alright.
That's all I got to say about Days of Future Past. It rendered all of the other movies completely pointless. And, that's 1 month of my life I'm never getting back.
Oh, you love it.
Join us next time for Generation X, I guess. Why even bother, really? Because I bet that didn't happen either.
But wait, no, we didn't do final thoughts.
Oh, right, yeah, final thoughts. I forgot about that. Let's see.
So my final thoughts. For this movie,
you go ahead first.
It was in desperate need of a rewrite, honestly. Like, if this, this felt like an early draft, and I feel like, well, not necessarily early draft, but it was like an unfinished draft.
Yeah, had a couple more revisions. It could have been really, really great.
Yeah, but as is, I think it's okay. I don't think it's
a decent flick. Yeah.
But I like it a lot, and I think that there's a lot of good, and the actors are good, and yeah. So in the end, I'm going to give this movie a 7.5 out of 10.
I am going to, just personally, because
you wasted your month on all these movies that now don't matter
It's
anymore.
a couple things. See, the thing is, I wrote down a note, like, near the beginning of the movie that was like, hey, this movie's really good. And I feel like as it gradually went on, I started getting, I kind of liked it less and less in terms of, being good. Thing is, when I watch a movie, I generally tend to, like, shut my mind off a little bit and just, enjoy whatever's on the screen. But there are certain, like, there's another part of me, the part of me that needs content for this show, that was taking notes throughout the entire movie, and I didn't really think about the notes myself while I was watching the movie, so don't get me wrong, it was a pleasurable experience while I was watching it, but when when I got out of the theater and I looked at my notes later today, I was like, this was a bit, ridiculous, and it renders all the other movies completely non-existent, and I don't know, I'm a little bit bitter, I'm a little bit disappointed. I enjoyed the watching experience, but that's just because I like watching movies. I'm gonna go for 6.5 or 7. Personally.
Oh, we didn't talk about the post-credit scene.
There was a post-credit scene? I didn't catch the post-credit scene. God damn it. Of course I missed the goddamn post-credit scene. I always miss those when I'm in a theater.
Did you not see it?
What is it? Tell me.
Okay, so the post-credit scene...
Or actually, should I just watch it right now? Before we
I don't think you'll be able to find it.
Oh, yeah, it's probably not on YouTube.
Okay, but so I'll explain what the post-credit scene is. So the post-credit scene is... And this is going to make no sense to you, but it's in Egypt. And
what? Why?
Yeah, in ancient Egypt, mind you, like pharaohs and shit, yeah.
What?
And what happens is, basically it reveals that you see this hooded figure standing with their hands up raised, and he's and there are these people chanting in Sabanur, in Sabanur, in Sabanur, and you see this guy telepathically building the pyramids, and it pans around, you see this little kid's face with like pale gray skin and blue lips, and then it cuts to black, and you're
what the hell?
Okay, so that character is Apocalypse, and the next movie is literally just called X-Men Apocalypse.
Oh my god! Of course.
Brief biography. He's what's considered to be the first mutant ever, and he's like the most powerful. And he was born in ancient Egypt.
I thought Jean was the most powerful because she was the only Class 5 mutant anyone had ever seen.
I'm gonna punch you.
Is he a class 6 mutant? Because otherwise I can't see how he can be the most powerful.
He's a class shut the fuck up mutant.
Brian Singer.
Brian Singer didn't direct X-Men 3.
I mean Brett Ratner. Brett
Brett
what's his
Ratner.
name?
That's
Yeah,
his name.
Brett Ratner.
Anyways,
That's right.
but well, hey, those movies don't exist now, so
Oh, right, of course. What am I talking about?
you're so bitter.
Does that mean Jean isn't a class 5 mutant or whatever that
I have
is?
no fucking clue. Anyways, so yeah, Apocalypse is basically the first mutant and considered to be the most powerful mutant ever. And he's called Apocalypse for a reason. I'm not going to go too deep into him just because I'm tired and I don't feel like it.
And we still need to record the fan fiction episode today.
God. But anyways...
That one's gonna hurt you, by the way.
Oh, dear God. Anyways, he's mutant and he's evil and he's super bad. Gambit's going to be in the next one.
Finally. I like Gambit.
Hope you enjoyed this fucking...
This episode was a bit of a mess, honestly.
Oh my God.
And I think it's the longest we've ever gone, also.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it.
For sure.
Join us next time as we do God-awful fanfiction and then Generation X.
We're almost done with X-Men month. We're almost done.
One more movie.
And
Alright.
then we can watch Spider-Man. Is it?
Next is Judge Dredd.
Oh, God. Is it?
Yep.
Great.
Alright, see you guys. See you next time.
Bye, guys. Bye.
Ugh.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Shazam Cast. If you'd like to take a minute to leave us a review on iTunes, we'd really appreciate it. It only takes a minute or two, and it really helps us get the word out there about this show of ours. If you're listening to this episode on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to hear all our latest comic-y material as soon as it comes out. We're also on Facebook, facebook.com/ShazamCast, and on WordPress, shazamcast.wordpress.com. So make sure you take a look at those sometime. Thanks. We love you. Some of you. The cool ones.